Have you ever questioned the trustworthiness of someone you thought you knew inside and out? What would you do if the person you loved violated your trust while attempting to maintain contact with the person they betrayed you with? This was the issue I had when I discovered my girlfriend's continued friendship with her old affair partner. Faced with her inability to move on from the past, I made the painful decision to end our relationship. But I couldn't help but feel that her new lover deserved to know the truth about her prior behavior, just as I had. Is it wrong of me to break up with my girlfriend because she still hangs out with a guy with whom she cheated in her previous relationship? My ex-girlfriend, 25, and I, 26, were together for nearly a year. We were hanging out with several of her pals a few weeks earlier, but not with the one in issue. We were playing a small quiz game, and one of the topics came up about cheating. I remarked that I despise cheaters, and one of the friends threw my ex-girlfriend a glance. I also noticed my girlfriend becoming uneasy. It was strange and made me think. The next day, I asked my ex-girlfriend about it. She refused to lie and acknowledged that she had cheated on her ex. This happened a year before she met me. I was upset since she hadn't addressed it before, so I asked her what occurred. She added that she once got drunk and hooked up with a friend. Let's call him Byron. Byron is a former friend with benefits, and they continue to get out regularly. I knew my ex-girlfriend and Byron had a past, and while I didn't enjoy how they hung around, I just coped with it. I was outraged because I not only discovered she was a cheater, but also continued to hang out with the guy. I told her I needed time to consider, and after 2 days, I chose to end our relationship. I didn't want to tell her that she couldn't be friends with Byron, and I knew I couldn't deal with her continuing to be friends with him, so I simply removed myself. So, am I an a-hole? My ex-girlfriend stopped by my house. She stated she wanted to get back together and that it was foolish of us to split up over this. I told her that I was not comfortable with her friendship with Byron. She admitted that her infidelity with Byron was a mistake, but it was in the past and she has evolved. I told her it doesn't appear like it. She goes out drinking with Byron frequently, and they were friends with benefits before and during her previous relationship. I told her I wasn't willing to take the chance of being her next sucker. She then asked, "What if I cut off Byron? Can we get back together then?" To be honest, I was intrigued for a second because our relationship appeared to be going well. But I recalled some of the realizations I'd had since our breakup and asked her, "Have you been with Byron since we broke up?" Her reaction was all I needed to see. She stuttered over her words before finally saying, "No." I gave her a look that said I did not believe her. She attempted to recuperate, stating, we were broken up." At that point, I raised my hands, said, "Nope," and requested her to go. She was pretty upset. 8.5 months later, I saw her at a party. We chatted briefly and were friendly, but I realized she was there with someone new. She looked uneasy about meeting her new guy, but I eventually caught him alone. I told him about Byron and everything I had gone through. His reaction was very relaxed. He simply responded, "Really? Well, thank you for informing me." I didn't remain around to watch what happened next, but after everything, I decided to try to aid the next guy. I hadn't understood how good it felt to no longer have to worry about my girlfriend. Looking back, even before learning about her infidelity history, I had never been entirely comfortable with her going out drinking with Byron. Now, however, I feel fantastic. I no longer have to worry about it, and I wish I had left her sooner. I'm still dating, and there have been ups and downs, but being alone feels much better than being with my ex. I know I made the right decision, and I'm happier than ever. Trust is essential in a relationship, and it's difficult to recover once broken, even if it occurred before we met. Anyone would be concerned about her history with Byron, especially since they are still in contact. Looking back, should I have left sooner? Probably, but hindsight is 20/20. Second story. I, a 35-year-old man, have been with my wife, a 33-year-old woman, for the past decade, and we married 3 years ago. Our sex life has been non-existent for the past 6 months, owing primarily to the fact that I travel for work several times per month. When I get home, I work long hours. I do my best to help with the housekeeping and spend time with my wife, but I pass asleep the moment I lie down. My vitality is sapped. My wife stopped her job when we married, so I can't take a break from work. It was her decision, and I had no say in it. Today, she informed me that she is pregnant. I was surprised because the last time we had sex was several months ago, so I quipped, "You got pregnant while cuddling?" "That's the closest we've come to intimacy." She continued saying, "Don't you remember?" I told her I really didn't. She said, "Well, we started making out, then you kind of passed out, so I just rode you, oh well," and she laughed. I asked her, "While I was passed out?" She replied, "No, you were awake. You smiled well afterward." What is the big deal here? I assured her that I would remember at least some of it. Come on. She became enraged and asked if I was accusing her of anything. I answered no, but I was really perplexed. Is it wrong for me to suspect that my wife cheated on me? I've been home on time, so my travel hasn't been consistent. Do I need her consent to take a paternity test? Why don't I feel glad and joyful if she hasn't cheated? I feel like an asshole. I checked her phone, and she and my brother had bonded over their feelings of loneliness as spouses were neglected by their husbands. While I was away on business, he would inform his wife that he was working night shifts and would spend sleepovers at our home. They both agreed that the arrangement seemed both right and wrong, since neither of them wanted to leave their husbands while still enjoying the sexual and emotional aspects of the affair. When I approached her, she became enraged that I was searching through her phone and claimed she felt violated. I honestly didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She insisted the baby was probably mine because we had been having quickies. According to her, it happened more than once while I was half asleep, and she stated, "I only wanted your baby." I told her I didn't believe a word she said. I told her she needed to move out, and we'd decide what to do after the paternity test. I also informed her that I was canceling her extracurricular activities because they were no longer my responsibility. She said I was financially abusing her, but to be honest, I don't really care. I told her I'd attend her next baby appointment to speak with her family doctor. She's now residing with her best friend. She messaged me today to say she's spotting and blames me for it, claiming I've stressed her out and increased her chances of miscarriage. She claimed I'm a terrible father and an abusive spouse. I honestly don't know if she's ever been pregnant. I inquired whether she needed a ride to the hospital or a friend's house so I could take her. She did not respond, so here I am. I barred my brother from everywhere. I do not have a brother anymore. It is not unreasonable for me to request a paternity test. I have every right to know if this baby is mine, especially given the circumstances. My wife's charges of financial abuse appear to be a diversion more than a legitimate worry. Setting limits and shutting her off like this makes complete sense to me. Not only that, but her claim that she felt violated after I went through her phone, even though she and my brother have been playing house while I'm away, makes a lot of sense. Third story. The dynamics of this connection are evolving. Is it wrong of me to seek a divorce after my wife sought it and then changed her mind? After returning from a month-long trip to Florida with her friends, she informed me she was unhappy and wanted to talk about divorce. She even told one of her children that she intended to retire early, return to Florida, and live on the beach. I can't retire for another 13 years, and she understands that. She's always been sneaky about her phone, sleeping under her pillow and carrying it around the home. She began taking 3-hour walks in which she would shower, change clothing, and apply perfume. During our regular debates about how to divide the property in the divorce, she'd remind me how unhappy she was. As the negotiations progressed, she kept the house to save her retirement funds for her future beach life. She made 2 additional trips to Florida in a month, ostensibly by herself, but was highly enigmatic about them. For the last trip, she didn't notify or communicate with the kids for 5 days. The final red flag came when she mistakenly sent a sexually graphic text to her daughter, which was most likely intended for her boyfriend or affair partner. She does not desire a divorce now that the time has come for her to move out. I have a screenshot from when I was notified of the message. I questioned why she didn't just go live with this person, unless he was also married. I also told her I wouldn't be a placeholder until she could move in with this guy or find another if he left. I already spoke with a lawyer earlier this week when she was fully committed to the divorce. I believe there is no turning back after this, and I want to see the divorce through to completion. She began to get cold feet shortly after I spoke with the attorney. Yes, I realize asking the question here makes me appear stupid. Still, her behaviors upset me, and I wasn't ignoring them. Oh wow, this is not a text anyone wants to receive from their mother. That lapse is challenging to ignore, especially given everything else. Not only that, but it appears that she is feeling buyer's remorse now that she is confronted with the reality of leaving the marriage and maybe being on her own. It sucks to suck, I suppose. And that concludes today's video. Thank you for listening in and following along with this gripping narrative. If you appreciate the content or have any feedback, please comment below. Make sure to like and subscribe to keep up with our latest posts and turn on the notification bell to never miss a story. See you at the next one.